Hi, I'm Yash, and today I'm going to teach you about brain-machine interfaces. They're the next great technological frontier. They aspire to fully integrate the human brain with engineerable machinery. A machine takes input from a person and outputs information or an action. Right now, interfacing with a machine has practical bottlenecks. That's because you have to use motor function to input information, and then you usually have to take visual processing or some other type of processing to understand the information that the machine outputs. Brain-machine interfaces will simplify that. Both the input and output will happen directly at the neuronal level in your brain. It won't even be a part of your conscious thought process. Brain-machine interfaces will be able to solve issues that are caused by the brain, like blindness and mental illness, as well as provide augmentation, giving us capabilities that we can't even imagine right now. The issue is that it's incredibly complex. If you scale up the cortex by 1,000, it's now 6 city blocks long. And if you took a 1-meter cube of these 6 city blocks, that 1-meter cube would have 40,000 soma the size of small marbles. And soma are the centers of neurons. And they'll have 40,000 glial cells that assist the neuronal function. And that's all wrapped in a kilometer of blood vessel length. This is all 1/50,000th of the cortex. The complexity is astounding, and remember that the scale and density stays the same when you go at the actual size of the cortex. In this figure, you can see how tightly packed together all the different types of cells are in brain tissue. This makes our task very complicated. Inputting to the machine means being able to read information from the brain. First, we have electroencephalography, which has a really large scale, but gives you pretty bad information. Look at how complex every single neuron's reactions are. It's got so many steps, yet this is the information for the entire brain that you get out of an EEG. Now, an electrocardiograph is similar to an EEG, but it's a little bit more invasive because it's actually on the surface of the brain instead of through the skull, so you get somewhat better information. Local field potential is even better information, but it's even more invasive because those probes are going inside the brain, penetrating the tissue. Output to the brain is its separate issue. You have optogenetics, which involve adjusting the neuron's genetic code so that they're reactive to a certain frequency of light and can be stimulated by exposure to that light. That means that in addition to stimulating whatever neurons you shine the light on, you also can choose which neurons you want to be reactive because you have that ability with the CRISPR genetic modification. As you can see in this diagram, optogenetic stimulation is the best of the best in precision, especially compared to electrical stimulation, which is kind of the only other option. So the synthesis of it all is Elon Musk's Neuralink, which is making the most promising bid to build a brain-machine interface. And they're using electrical stimulation, but in a way that's really intelligent, because they're going to thread 3,000 electrodes deep inside the brain. And electrodes will be implanted at a rate between 30 and 200 per minute by a sophisticated surgical robot. All the processing of these 3,000 electrodes will be done by a little disc embedded in the skull, and these electrodes will both read information from the neurons and stimulate them, completing the input and output parts of the machine. This is what the sewing machine will look like. Brain-machine interfaces are going to go mainstream within our lives. They're going to change our conception of society, and it's really important to understand them. Thank you.